I want to start with the cookbook, and I'm going to read it really quick. I'm not trying to be rude. Trishas Kitchen, easy comfort food for friends and family, coming out September 28th. You can pre-order it now, hmhbooks.com. And I read this thing that said that you might be the most excited about this cookbook. Why is that?
You know, it's weird. The first book was all stuff that my mom kept in a shoebox in her kitchen, you know, mostly just things that I grew up on. And then the second book, we kind of widened that net, and, you know, we had like aunts and uncles and things that we'd eat at family reunions. And the third book was my sister Beth and I kind of trying to give everybody the healthy option. And then we're like, let's just go back to comfort food. So this book was, I think in the last few years of doing the cooking show, I feel like I've really kind of grown up in the confidence factor of just like experimenting with recipes and really developing stuff that is really mine. So I just feel like everything in this book is something that I really take ownership of and that I've made famous in my own kitchen. It's not necessarily somebody else's recipe that I've tweaked. It's my stuff. And it's just been so much fun. And being home for the past year was kind of perfect. It was the perfect storm for testing recipes, sitting with them, reworking them. I have a close-knit group of friends that I trust to tell me the truth about food, namely my husband. He will tell me if something's not exactly as good as it should be. And I appreciate it. I'm really mad at first, but then I appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I'm just excited about it. It's been fun to work on. And I think the recipes are really good. They're simple ingredients like we all want. And it's the way I grew up cooking, the way I learned to cook. And I'm just pumped for everybody else to try the recipes.
I was going to wait till later to bring this up, but since you brought up Garth being, you know, truthful about your cooking and all of that, I read in, I think it was Good Housekeeping, that Allie said that Dad would cook frozen chicken and like nuggets and heat up mac and cheese. Is that really what he does if someone else isn't there to, like, you know, make a meal or something?
Yeah. And actually our girls at when Garth and I celebrated 15 years married in December, and we, when I got married, I also did an exchange rings with the girls because they had to say that it was okay for their dad to marry me. So we all got married. So we all get together once a year, and they're all grown now, but they wanted Tyson chicken strips and boxed mac and cheese. And that was our meal. That's what I made. That's what we made for them to have this year. So it's like a thing. Or he would make his famous burritos, which he would dump a can of refried beans, and he'd put some salsa and some processed, like already shredded cheese, and mix it together, and microwave it, and stick that in a flour tortilla. That was his other big trick. That was what they grew up on. I think that's why they allowed me to come into the family. They were homemade mashed potato, and this girl's going to give it to us.
Funny, in my house, it's the opposite. My second biggest passion is cooking. I love to cook. And so I do every night. And occasionally I'll have some work thing or something that I'm doing, and my wife will cook. And it was the other day, I forget what it was she was cooking, but she threw it in the pan and then turned on the heat. And I said, babe, you got to have a hot pan. We're not boiling water here. Like, you've got to have, she just put I think it was some kind of meat, or I don't remember what it was, but just a cold pan, and then turned it on. She's like, it'll cook. You got to love hearing stuff like that, right? Like, as someone who obviously has their own cooking show and is fantastic at it, and has made another additional career out of it, to hear stories like that.
Yeah. You know, the place, I don't know if you guys have a place called Papa Murphy's there, but we have it's a take and bake, you know, and you go get your pizza, and they wrap it in the plastic wrap, and then you take it home and you bake it. And while I was picking up pizza, not that long ago, someone called, and I heard the kid answer the phone, and he said, "Yes, ma'am, you definitely need to take the plastic off before putting it in the oven." And I was like, he hung up, and I said, "Dude, like, does that happen? Do you get that?" He's like, "You would be amazed at the calls we get." So, I mean, it's like, yes, if you put it in the oven with the plastic on, it will go away, but it will also then be in your pizza. So I nothing surprises me.
Let's talk about music. Do you have new stuff that you're working on? Obviously, you have Shallow Out with Garth, which is a phenomenal tune that we're playing. Last album, though, is 2019. Are you working on something now?
I'm always listening. You know, I'm not in the studio currently, but that'll change because I can't. Once I took such a long hiatus, and then I made 2 albums. I made Let's Be Frank and Every Girl. And that really reminded me that I need to be doing that. Like, I just need to make music because it's who I am. So I don't have anything specific to tell you, but I definitely won't be waiting that long between albums. I just can't do it.
Good. I can't wait for it. You are, for me, one of the first artists that I connected to. She's in Love with the Boy was unbelievable. I actually had the poster in my wall. I had a crush, right? Don't tell Garth. I don't want him to get mad. But the music was, unbelievable. One of my favorite songs of all time is Walkaway Joe. It's just, every time I hear it, it's one of those songs that I stop everything and I make everybody listen to because it's so good. And staying on that song, I found out, I must have seen this video 100 times, Trisha. I didn't know Matthew McConaughey was in this video. Is that true? Did you know?
No, he was a young kid living in Austin, and we shot the video in Nashville, but they went to Texas and shot the B-roll. So I never did meet him, but my video producer said, yeah, we cast this kid, this couple, this cute kid in the video. And, then it became Matthew McConaughey. And it's funny because he and I, it took us years to finally meet. And it was almost like this joke of like, we'd be at an award show together and not ever meet. We finally met. He's got a book out called Green Lights. It's a really good book. You should read it. It is really good. I thought it was a really good book. And I was surprised to see my name in there. I was like, oh, cool. I made the Matthew book. But he mentioned that it was early on. He was actually doing some hand modeling, and he was doing some commercials and videos and stuff. And that was one of his earlier calls, so I love it. It's kind of a cool little, when you ask people, there's a famous person in that video, people go, oh yeah, Don Henley. You're like, yeah, right. There's another famous person in that video. But
I was reading Green Lights, and as I'm going through it, that came up, and I was like, get out of here. And I pulled out my phone and watched the video again. And I was like, oh my God, sure enough. And he's Joe in the video. So it's Leading Ladies here with radio.com. And I want to turn to that a little bit because obviously, you've got the girls, and you've got thousands of young women and adult women that look to you and listen to your music for inspiration. If there's one piece of advice you could give them, what would it be?
Oh, that's tough. Maybe don't be so hard on yourself. I think young girls are so hard on themselves, and it never goes away. We're always still those little girls, and we still get our feelings hurt too easily, and we still either try to please everybody or we settle for less than we think we deserve. A lot of girls do that, and boys do too. But girls, I feel like don't understand that things don't have to be that way. And I also, two pieces of advice: have your team, have your tribe, have other girls and other women who support you and encourage you and believe in you. I think that's what we're seeing with this new crop of young girls who are really doing well in country music right now, is that they're friends with each other, and they're celebrating each other's victories, and they're there for each other for the hard stuff. And I like seeing that because I know in the 90s when I started, there was a great crop of young women, and we were all buddies, and we were all supporting each other. So it's kind of come full circle, and we're seeing that again. I think it's important because you need to have somebody in your life that you can talk to about those things. And I'm married to the love of my life, but I still need my girlfriends. It's really important to have those women in your life that you can talk to.
Let's do some quick fire leading ladies questions. Number one, which leading lady would you call first to write a song with?
Ashley McBride.
Great answer. I love her. Number two, which leading lady is your go-to for some day drinking?
The list is long. Probably Ashley McBride. Yeah.
Number three, your favorite leading lady concert or performance that you've ever witnessed as a fan?
Cher.
Really?
Yeah.
Just the whole show of it all?
The show, I also am a huge fan. I've been a fan of her since I was 5 years old. So yeah, Cher.
Number four, which leading lady deserves more spotlight right now than she's currently getting?
Oh, wow. Haley Witters, Kaylee Hammock, Mickey Guyton.
There's a lot.
Yeah, Lucy Silvas. There's just a lot. There's a lot of really strong Caitlin Smith, female artists out there who are writing and performing and doing great stuff. There's some really good stuff out there.
Trisha, thank you so much. It's truly an honor. I'm a big fan to chat with you and have some time with you. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Coop. I need to send you a new poster for your wall.
Please do.
I'll get on that.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, Trisha.
Thank you so much.